Today's video is sponsored by BetterHelp.com, and I've been with them for a long time. BetterHelp is an online platform where we found that you can effectively communicate with your therapist. Now, you begin by filling out a questionnaire, and then you'll be matched with a therapist within a couple of days. And if that match isn't ideal for you, you can certainly make an adjustment there. Now, you're going to be encouraged to journal, and also they have the availability for group therapy on a wide array of topics, and I really like that. So as the need exists, go ahead and take the necessary steps to get the help that you need. And just know that BetterHelp has a 4.5 rating on Trustpilot, so it indeed is a platform you can trust. There's a link below the video that will take you there. Let's acknowledge a very basic aspect of our life here on this planet, and that is variety is built into so many aspects of all that we see and experience. Now, we could focus a long time on the variety that's there in nature, but I want to focus today on just human nature, and I want us to recognize just straight up the obvious truth. There's a lot of variety in terms of the way that you and I as human beings manage things. I mean, starting with just simple things like our appearance or our cultural influences or our lifestyle habits. We have a great variety in our opinions and our quirks and idiosyncrasies. I've got mine, you've got yours, Gus has his, all right. We have variety in our preferences, our interpretations, our values, our priorities, our guiding priorities. We have variety in terms of what makes us feel happy and what kind of entertainment we have. I mean, all sorts of different things come into play. And basically, as you and I are going to get along with one another, we need to come to terms with that. We're just simply not the same. Now, this requires us, as we engage with one another, to blend and to coordinate and to harmonize. And then this is where the narcissist comes in. The narcissist looks at all of that and thinks, I don't blend, and I don't coordinate, and I don't harmonize. And so to them, interaction is basically a one-way street. You need to go along with me. I'm the one who establishes the standards around here. And as far as I'm concerned, I have to have things inside my little box. I have to have things go according to my preferences, my desires. I don't flow. I don't coordinate when you and I differ. One of us has to be right. The other has to be wrong. My opinions are the standards. That's how they operate. Okay, that's bad enough. And you've been around those individuals. It's like they're impossible. You just can't coordinate with them. Let's take it further, though. When you differ from a narcissist, particularly as they go further and further down the spectrum towards malignant narcissism, when you differ from them, and when I say differ, it doesn't even have to be value loaded. I mean, it could just be value neutral, so to speak. When you differ, they want to humiliate you. And then taking it further than that, when you differ, they want to humiliate you and they want to create a feeling of defeat in you. And then taking it a little bit further, they basically want your subjugation. They want you to have a sense that says that they have to bend towards the narcissist. And then in the end of it all, the narcissist will absolutely take delight in the fact that they have now shown that they're powerful, and they have humiliated you, they have defeated you, and then they think, life is good. Now I am a winner. And I wonder how many of you have had those kind of experiences. And it doesn't really matter what kind of setting we're talking about. Narcissists can bring this kind of mindset of humiliation, defeat, and delight, that little trio, inside the home. I know you have family members perhaps that are this way, in a work setting, in academia, in politics, in religion, in any kind of social organization or structure. I mean, even in sports and things like that. It's like, I have to be the winner. I have to subjugate you. And it's not that I just want to win. I've got to humiliate you and make you feel like you're the lowest. It's maddening. Now, when you see this kind of pattern in play, this begs several questions. Let's run through this. My first question is, what is it about variety? What is it about differences that's so threatening? Why are these individuals so easily triggered when you say, I don't think the same as you, or I have different preferences or interpretation or habits? And we can see that when you break down the early years of a narcissist, they very early in life learn the language, if you will, of judgment. They learn the language of accusation, and basically they had a lot of confusion about topics like what it takes to be accepted, or how to manage differences, or they don't know how to manage complexity whatsoever. In the mind of the narcissist, someone taught them conformity is a must. Now, they don't particularly like the idea of having to conform to everybody else's standards. So as they grow and age, and then they get to a place where they can start exerting some of their influence, they think, well, wait a minute. I become the winner when I get to exert my opinions onto you and my will onto you. They're very threatened by the fact that you might get there first. And so fear, when we say that narcissism is about fear is a driving factor. Now, they try to look fearless, but make no mistake, they're afraid of being a nobody. And so they're triggered by that, but then they think, well, I'll just jump ahead of the posse. Another question we can ask is, why does the narcissist allow emotion to override common sense? You would think common sense says, wait a minute, let's go back to that concept of variety. Everybody's going to be a little bit different. We all have a different way of looking at things. And narcissists, when you talk to them that way, their emotions become riled. Now, even if they're the stone cold kind of person that tries to pretend like they're not driven by emotion, they are. These individuals are deeply impacted by their own anger, which is anchored in an attitude of entitlement, but then that anger and entitlement is grounded in the emotion of insecurity to the point of paranoia. And so one of the things we can say about the narcissist who's in this pattern is they have what I call emotional incompetence. They never did learn how to manage their emotions. Nobody ever sat down, or if they did, it wasn't successful, and say, hey, let's talk about the meaning of this. And as a result, they have what we refer to as relationship codependency. They play off of you, you play off of them, and there's very much a feeding frenzy that they're operating with. They allow you to establish their pace, but then they try to establish yours. It's all a big circular game. Another question, and here's where we get into the harsh part of it. Why does the narcissist feel like they have to resort to humiliation? What's that all about? Well, let's keep in mind that narcissism is all about power. And the narcissist thinks, well, I have to have power to be a somebody. And they think, well, the longer I can focus on you and your deficiencies and how awful and terrible you are, then that means there's less time to talk about me. And so in their mind, your lowered status equates to my higher status. That's their lousy psychological math. And so the humiliation, trying to make you look like a fool, trying to ruin your reputation, speaking about you in a very derogatory way, letting you know in no uncertain terms how stupid you are or how much of a bother you are. They have to do it because it's part of their power game. But then taking it further, why do they feel the need to defeat you? And again, we can see, and defeat's maybe not even a strong enough word. Maybe the better word would be subjugation. They need to keep you subject to them. It's like you need to be in total submission to me. And of course, you can see that this is part of an enormous ego. It's their hubris. But then, as you can tell reading between the lines here, their enormous ego is part of their great shallowness and tremendous insecurity. To them, life is a competition. So they think, well, of course I'm going to humiliation, then I'm going to defeat you. And I want to keep you in a permanent loser's mindset because that's what their weakness from the inside out requires. And then the ultimate. Why do they take delight in your ruin? I've spoken to so many people, whether it's after they've exited a marriage or after they've exited a place of work, or if they look in the political arena, or if they've been in organizations where there's a super dominant kind of a person saying, here's how it goes. Why do they take delight in your ruin? And basically, this illustrates, at least to me, they're spineless. It goes back to their insecurity. That they have such a weak sense of appreciation for humanity. They have no particular piece to draw upon. Your demise is a shortcut to their validation. It's kind of like cheating on a test, and they operate with an overall defeatist mindset. To them, life sucks. Life is no good. Life is all about winners and losers. And part of their mentality, even as they take delight in defeating you, it's like, I'm not the loser. and you can see that's always right there at the forefront of their mind. And basically, we can say with these individuals, destroying you is very much their strategy, if you will, for being a somebody. Now, and again, as I know that you are listening to this and thinking about your own personal life, you can think this just leads to ruin. Keep in mind, when you're trying to respond to someone of this nature, by definition, you will never win. These individuals have zero interest in mutuality, that back and forth kind of mindset that I mentioned. They're psychologically addicted to dominance. And it's like, feed me, feed me, feed me. They have to have more. And part of the nature of addiction is enough is never enough. And then they'll until they refute all the things that I'm talking about, the need for humiliation, your defeat, and then their delight, they're going to continue on, and they're going to be a terribly unsafe person. Hatred, despair, greed, contempt are their defining features. Your best response a course of action is to create as much distance as you can, refuse to engage, trade in verbal assertions. In other words, rather than trying to negotiate with them, trade in verbal associations for behavioral associations. Be what you know you need to be. Let your behavior indicate, I don't play along with your game. I'm going to go ahead and be me, and understand this is abuse of the highest order. So understand that this person's need for humiliation, your defeat, your subjugation, and then them taking delight in it is something that you want to avoid at all cost. That person's absence becomes the beginning point of your freedom. Now, I hope that videos like this can give you some awareness of what you're dealing with, and looking behind the scenes of what is going on in the mind of the narcissist and what your responses can be. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button, please do so. I consider it a privilege when you allow me to be on your growth journey. Now, many times when you're dealing with something like this, you've heard me say this before, I must keep saying it. You might need some therapy. And there might be some therapists in your area that you could select from. If not, or if you would prefer differently, we have an online link, or a link for an online therapy resource, betterhelp.com. And you can go through the link and answer some questions, and they have an online therapist. It's proven to be an effective way to deal with things. Whatever your case is, as the need is warranted, please get the help that you would need. Now, in addition to that, I invite you to look into my website, and you'll notice we have courses on anger, on boundaries, on finding yourself despite their control, on having healthy connections. We have my webinars that are 90-minute PowerPoint presentations, along with hundreds of articles, and in my book. So we have lots of resources. Avail yourself to that as well. That's my profession. That's what I do. Narcissists, well, they not only want your humiliation, they not only want your defeat, they take delight in it. I'm hoping you can take delight in saying, I get to be who I am, and who I am is not what they are. I'm going to go into a very different path. I hope you can find peace.